Well, a good Sunday morning to you. It's Dan. I want to welcome everyone to my home in the sticks, and I hope everybody's having a good Sunday and a good weekend. But over here in East Central Mississippi, I'm here to tell you, it's close to 0800 hours and it is touching 90 degrees. We hit triple digits last week for several days in a row. So it's hot here in East Central Mississippi. Before we get started on today's video, I'm always going to say that if you are new to the channel, I want to welcome you. And if you returning just to see what old Dan's got going on over here, I sure enough thank you for coming back. But what I want to share with you and y'all today is we're going to fire up the pit barrel cooker. We're going to do some smoking. And I'm going to show you something that I have started doing, and if you are doing the same, sure enough. If you're not, I'm finna learn you something. So give me a second, finna get off in the shop, and that's what we finna do. Dan, what you cooking today? Well, I'm here to tell you I have been on a quest for several years on trying to perfect the way that I cook my baby back ribs and just my ribs, period, over here at the Home in the Sticks. But what I'm going to show you today is I have been using a technique called marinating, and that's marinating my ribs before I cook them. They marinate for about 4 hours, pull them out, pat them dry, season them, cook them. So we're going to do it in steps today. I'm going to show you the marinade that I'm going to use, and this is a spinoff of Myron Mixon's Marinade. If you don't know who Myron Mixon is, he's probably the king of barbecue. The old boy can show enough cook barbecue. If you are using this technique, good. If you're not, you need to try it because it's showing enough good, and it's extremely simple. So let's start on the marinade, and all it is 4 things. We're going to use some ginger ale, some orange juice, some Winchester sauce, and a packet of dry ranch. What I'm going to tell you is I've experimented with this marinade. I've used off-brand stuff. My advice is don't use off-brand stuff. Use the good stuff. The good ginger ale by Canada Dry. Some showing off good orange juice, Minute Maid orange juice. So just some high-quality orange juice. Definitely do not use off-brand Winchester sauce. If you can and you have the means, get some Lee and Perrin. And the ranch, well, you can't beat Hidden Valley. It just is what it is. So let's commence to making this marinade. Real simple. All right, let's get this marinade started. Super simple. The only thing we're going to use equal portions of are the ginger ale and the orange juice. Equal portions of each. We're going to start out with a cup of each. I have a big 8-cup Pyrex measuring cup. We're going to dump it in there and mix it because it's going to make it a whole lot easier. So let's see, that's a 1.5 cups. So we're going to roll with a 1.5 cups of each. There's our ginger ale. Get a 1.5 cups of orange juice. Let's shake this up. There's a 1.5 cups of orange juice. We're going to drink the rest of that. On the Winchester sauce, there is no certain amount. Actually, there is no specific amount on any of these ingredients. You just have to play around with it. If you like more Winchester sauce, use more Winchester sauce. You like more ranch, use more ranch. Just experiment. So we're going to hit this a couple of times with the Winchester sauce. We're going to dump in our dry ranch. I'm going to take you off of that tripod, bring y'all in closer once I get finished mixing all this up. Going to dump our dry ranch in there. Going to get us a whisk. We're going to whisk this up. Now what I've done, or what I've experimented with, is just the regular dry ranch, and I also have the buttermilk version of it. What I've been doing is just dumping in just a little bit of the buttermilk to it, and it alters the flavor just a little bit. I'm not going to put a whole bunch, just a little bit in there. Whisk it up. And don't be afraid to test the marinade. Get your spoon, stick your spoon off in there, test the marinade. Taste it, see what you think. Taste this marinade. Oh, that's pretty good. Might hit it with just a little bit more Winchester sauce. Might throw in a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. Give this joker a stir. Marinade's done. All right, let me give y'all a close-up of this marinade. Check it out. That's what the marinade looks like. It's got all that good ranch seasoning floating around in there with the orange juice, ginger ale, and Winchester sauce. Let's go on and get these ribs prepped I get them in a pan, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do next. All right, let's start on these ribs. Let me give you a few pointers and some tips, tricks that I've learned over the years. Let me show you. Here are our baby back ribs. These are some nice baby back ribs. One tip is the seasoning will not stick to fat. It'll fall off. I'm here to tell you. Once that fat starts to render, that seasoning is just gonna drip off of it. So if you have any fat, any high spots of fat, just take your knife and cut them down. These ribs look good in my opinion, but if I had some high spots of fat, I just take a knife and cut that fat off. Level, leave your blade nice and flat. You don't want to create any dips or valleys or gouge the meat if you don't have to, but these look good. Another thing is, on the back side of these ribs, I always pull off the membrane on the back of these baby back ribs. I do it with all ribs that have a membrane. Pull it off. Why? Because you leave it on there, it's going to be a lot harder for that marinade to get soaked up into that meat, or for the meat to accept the marinade. You pull that membrane off, the meat is in direct contact with the marinade. So let's do that. Flip this rib over. Some people like to use a spoon or a paper towel. Me, I just like to use my fingers, because most of the time I could just grab it kind of like that. Grab that membrane and just stick my finger underneath it like that. Just use my fingers and just work my fingers all the way down this rack of ribs, and I just use my thumb, just pull that membrane off. There we go. This stuff right here will stop your marinade from hitting all of this good meat in between them bones. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the marinade to these ribs. Here's our marinade. Give it a little bit of stir. And we're going to pour a little bit of marinade over the tops of these. We're going to give these guys a flip because we want the meat side down in the marinade. We're going to pour the rest of this marinade off in there. And you want to coat these ribs down real good with the marinade. It's going to look a little something like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these ribs in a refrigerator. You can let them marinate for about 2 hours. They should be okay. You let them go for about 4. That's going to be really good. The longer they sit in that marinade, the more intense the flavor is going to be, in my opinion. So we're going to get these in the refrigerator, and I'll see y'all in about 4 hours. All right, we're about 3.5 hours into the soak or marinade on the ribs. What I've done is I've come out here. I got a half chimney going. Get it ready to go on the, you know it, pit barrel. So we're gonna get inside and prep the ribs to put on this pit barrel for the smoke. Let me show you what I'm using in the pit barrel, just for informational purposes. As always, I'm using the Kingford Blue, and we're gonna smoke it up with a little bit of cherry wood. Probably see it in there, there you go. So let's commence to getting these ribs prepped to get on this pit barrel. All right, now we're gonna season these ribs. I got Possum Butt, AKA Eddie, behind the camera. Let's talk about how we're gonna season the ribs. We're gonna season these ribs with this picking and grilling. Why, Dan, are you using this? Well, for one, this seasoning is made by none other than Scotty Chun, who is a pit master, and he's a pit master from the state of Mississippi. So this is what we're gonna season these ribs with. We're gonna season the back first. Why? Because, I don't know, you really don't look at the back, you look at the front. So, let's go on and season these ribs. And we're gonna give these a good dusting. A really good dusting. Actually, I should have used the other thingamajig, but that's all right. And I'm gonna throw another little tip on you here in a second, as soon as we get to the front of these ribs. And no, this ain't gonna be no damn possum butt. All right, let's go.
Just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I did. All right, we're gonna get it in there real good. All right, the key to this, and I guess we could do it on the back. A lot of people rub the dry rub in there. We're not gonna rub it. We're gonna pat it in there, just like that. Next thing that we're gonna do, the pit barrel uses a different system of actually hanging the ribs. We're gonna use these stainless steel guys here, these hooks, but I've heard that a lot of folks have a little bit of trouble when they actually hang these ribs because they don't, for one, they don't know where to hang the rib, and secondly, they don't know how to use the second hanger. And I'll tell you why we use two hangers on these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the thickest part of the meat, which is gonna be this side right here. Count down maybe 1 or 2 ribs and we're gonna stick it. The second one actually goes on the opposite side, and we're gonna find a place where it'll go in between 2 ribs. So let's see, let me get it on in here. See how that works? So the way that this works is if this hanger right here fails, it's going to catch on this one right here, if that makes sense. And that's what it looks like. So give me a couple of seconds. We're going to get this other rib prepped up, and then we're going to go hang them jokers on the pit barrel, and we're going to get to smoking. All right, let's hang these ribs. Let's see, maybe get one right there and over here. All right, that's what it's looking like. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna smoke these ribs for maybe 2.5, 3 hours, and then we're gonna pull them off, and then we're gonna wrap them, but I'll bring you back when we do that. All right, ribs have been on for, I don't know, about 3 hours. Ooh, that's good. That's a really good color. I mean, so we're gonna get these guys inside, and then we're gonna wrap them up. They're gonna go back on the pit barrel for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and then it's gonna be time for a taste test. All right, we have the ribs inside. What we have here is some aluminum foil. We're gonna wrap them. I have a little bit of brown sugar and some butter. We're gonna set these ribs right on top of it, and they're looking good and warm. Build us a little bitty boat. It'll look something like that. So we're gonna add a little bit of blue can in there. There's one. We're gonna get one more done, and then we're gonna put them back on the pit barrel. So give me a second. Pit barrel is still up to temp. Let's see if we can't get these guys in here without burning myself. Now, what we're trying to do is we're gonna firm up these. These ribs if we can. We're looking for internal temperature on the ribs in between the meat about 205. That's gonna make some fine eating. So give us about 30, 45 minutes. Turn the camera back on. All right, these ribs have been on the pit barrel cooker. We have them wrapped in aluminum foil. They've been actually on the grill for probably about 30 minutes. We're gonna pull them off, bring them into the shop, let them rest, and then we're gonna take a taste test. All right, we have the ribs. We let them set for just a little while, let them rest for a little while. We have some that we cut up. It's time for a taste test. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna take a look at it. It's got a lot of moisture still left in it. Let's give it a taste. Okay, that's what we're looking for. See that bite mark? That's a perfectly good rib. I'm gonna say it's really good rib. Possum Butt, you did a fine job, brother.
That's all you.
That's what I want to share with you and y'all today. We did a show enough rib cook on the pit barrel cooker. The main premise behind this video is marinating the ribs. If you haven't tried it, you definitely need to give it a try. So what we're gonna do is, Possum Butt and I finna get our eat on. I got some tater salad that I made, so we sure enough gonna get our eat on. I hope everybody's having a sure enough good Sunday. I hope everybody stays safe today and during the week amid this crisis that we still have going on. If you like this video, go and give it a thumbs up to help. If you haven't subscribed to the Homeless 6 channel, Lord of Mercy, y'all need to come on over and give old Dan a look, because I'm always doing stuff like eating ribs with Possum Butt. That being said, you know it's coming down reference show enough. Always gon' say it. Don't let nobody dull your shine. And I mean nobody. You sure enough get your shine on. Be you, get your cook on. It's important. And Dan will see you and y'all in the next video.